Welcome back to the MOCTub Troopers. Today I'm showcasing the first wave of my mocks that you could get on my site MOCTub.com. Now if you're new or you haven't seen any of my socials, this wave is inspired by Battlefront 2015, specifically the sullust map where you can see these builds inside the hangar and throughout the map. And these builds will also be used in my Minifig-Scale sullust hangar that I am currently designing. So let's go through them. So starting off, we have the centerpiece of this wave, the TIE Fighter repair stand. This mock contains 575 pieces and is the only accurate mock of this model that has ever been made. So if you want to add a very unique TIE stand to your TIE Fighter and display it in a very unique way, or you want to add this to your base or diorama, MOCTub is the only place you can get this to build. But just how accurate is this? Well, take a look for yourself. Every model I make that's a minifig scale has been thoroughly researched to get it as close as possible, as well as close as possible to minifig scale, using Battlefront and clips and images from the shows and movies. Now I already made a video on this and that one is a bit more in depth than was made for those who purchased my instructions because some areas are a little bit tricky. I do utilize illegal and intricate techniques, so if you want to go see that, here's the thumbnail and title. But moving on, let's take a look at the single cannon turbo laser, which is also specific to Battlefront 2015. So you guys remember these placed in several areas of the map on sullust as well as Bespin, and these were monsters. I mean, it took a lot to take them out, and you literally just tap and you can one-shot players from insane distances. That is if you were lucky enough to not have those sweaty pilots just instantly take them out every time. With 127 pieces, this is currently the most accurate mock of this model, since there have been mocks of this turbo laser made before. However, they're usually too small or too big, and none of them have incorporated the gears seen on the sides of the cannon, which I felt was definitely needed. And of course, the turret can be rotated 360 degrees and the cannon can swivel up and down. Now do note, these black gears that you see right here are pretty expensive because there's not much in circulation. However, I did make a light bluish gray version available so you could get that piece for cheap and you could just spray paint it black. Or you could also just get a knockoff version of this piece and get that for a ton times cheaper. So moving on to the other mocks, we're looking at builds that aren't specific to sullust or Battlefront, but I include them in this wave since they are present in the map. So first, let's look at this Imperial cargo container that are scattered everywhere on the map, especially on the first section if you're playing as Imperials. Now just one of these containers has 286 pieces, and my favorite part of this is that you can stack these and they will be able to stay in place. All you have to do is just add a couple plates and tiles on the bottom, and you're good. However, this is my unfavorite part of this mock, which is this. Now because there aren't any inverted corner slopes, I had to use this technique. However, I don't think it's really that big of an issue because first off, if you're buying mocks, you probably aren't really swooshing them around as much. And two, this is a cargo container. I mean, it's not a starship, so you're not really supposed to swoosh this around. So because it's like literally just gonna sit in one spot and maybe you'll maybe move it around a couple times to reorganize. In my opinion, I don't think it's that big of an issue. But anyways, let's look at some of the smaller builds that are part of an accessories bundle. And in this bundle will include an uplink, this communications box. I don't really know the names of these or what they exactly do, so I just called it that. It could also be a data console station. Again, I don't know the exact names. I don't think anyone does. But we also have, again, I don't know the name, but I call these fuel pods. This black studded box, a barrel which doesn't have any red, and that is because I'm planning on making stickers in the future. So some of these builds will look updated and better once I start doing that, but for now, they'll look like this. And of course, you can't forget these cargo boxes that you see scattered everywhere on literally any Imperial map. And last but not least, you may have noticed, with the launch of my site, I also included a Beachtrooper hot tub, specifically the one featured in the Skywalker saga, because that's really the only brick built one. But this is what it looks like, and my favorite part of this is that you can add LEDs to the side so that you can actually get that color changing glow that you see in the game, which I just think looks phenomenal. And that is everything part of Season 1 on MOCTub. Be sure to check out the rest of my builds available, and as of the time recording, my Yavin build will be out soon that features the things that you see in Battlefront 2 as well as Andor, so be on the lookout for that as well. But without further ado, make sure to subscribe if you also like very detailed minifig scale builds, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.